Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Today is Indigenous Peoples Day in Vermont. For the first people who settled here, the Abenaki, water was life. And the Abenaki word for water is nebi. Today we're going to learn more about the Abenaki and nebi and the role water plays in Abenaki creation stories of Lake Champlain and our region's history. Working with 3 bands of the Abenaki Nation, the Nulhegan, Missisquoi, and Elnu bands, UVM Extension and the Lake Champlain Sea Grant Program created a short film entitled Nebi, Abenaki Ways of Knowing Water. Produced by award-winning filmmaker Vince Franke of Duxbury. This film was created in an effort to share cultural history and knowledge with the public. It also provides an opportunity to the Abenaki people to preserve their creation stories for generations to come.
The importance of water is often overlooked today. To the Abenaki people, water is the web of life that connects all living things together in both past, present, and future generations. For thousands of years, Abenaki stories sharing the importance of water and the creation of Lake Champlain, its basin, and Champ have been passed down to the next generation. Lake Champlain, known as Bitabok, has been central to the Abenaki people. The creation of Lake Champlain and the basin began as Tabaldak, the creator, was traveling across the universe with his friend Tolba the turtle, also known as Mother Earth. Once the creator started rubbing his hands together, the earth started falling from his hands and landing on the back of Tolba the turtle. As the dirt was falling, some of our spiritual beings, one of them being Gluskapi, who created himself from something, which is the falling dirt, but also a bunch of other spirits was forming from that dirt, and one of those people were Adziozo. Once the creator and Gluskapi were down on the earth discussing things, because the creator wanted to leave, they heard, "Help! Help!" They heard this voice hollering for help. And then they heard, "Help! Help!" again. So they started walking towards the voice. So from the falling dirt, Adziozo didn't have any legs. So when he fell, he couldn't land on his feet. So he landed on his back. And as the dirt kept falling, it kind of cemented him into the ground. So he was hollering help because he was looking straight up. So as Adziozo was looking towards the sky, and hollering for help, all of a sudden he saw 2 things appear, the creator and Gluskapi. They didn't know what Adziozo was, they just know that he was stuck. So they started chiseling around his arms, the creator on one side and Gluskapi on the other, and they chiseled him out and pulled him up, which left a big hole where he was being chiseled out of. So he didn't have any legs. So he was pretty upset. He was asking the creator to help him, and the creator said, "I can't help you. I mean, I didn't do this. It was falling from my hands. I didn't like magically say, poof, here you are," right? I mean, you just formed from the dust that was falling from my hands. Adziozo got upset, so he started throwing a tantrum, and he started dragging himself across the Lake Champlain basin, and he left. And while he was gone, Gluskapi felt kind of bad for him, right? So Gluskapi did was take a little of the dirt that was left over, and he made a pair of legs. Gluskapi knew that Adziozo would come home eventually. That's why he put his legs there where he came. So eventually Adziozo came back, and he saw these legs there. And he was kind of suspicious, like, wow, they weren't there when I left, what's going on? And so he started like, I wonder whose legs those are. And he started approaching it, and he goes, wow, he goes, wonder what that is. You know, I know they're legs, but whose are they? And as he started getting closer, well, it was made from the same dirt as Adziozo. So what happens when 2 magnets, meet? They start pulling at each other and start connecting. So as Adziozo got closer, he felt this pull, and he tried to drag his arms because he was starting to be pulled towards these legs, and he couldn't stop himself. And all of a sudden, wham! He slammed into the legs, and it locked him right in. And he's like, oh man, now I'm stuck again. So what he decided to do, he said, okay, I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to chisel under my torso where the legs are, and so I can free my leg. So he was chiseling and chiseling. He grabbed a hold of the ground to lift himself off his right-hand side, and he made this huge push, and he piled up this dirt off to the right-hand side, which is the Green Mountains. And then he took his other hand and he started chiseling around his torso, and he started to break free, and he took his other hand and he leveraged himself and he started pushing on the left-hand side, and that created the Adirondacks. So then he grabbed his hands on the peak of the dirt, and he pulled himself up and he raked his fingers down the Green Mountains and the Adirondacks, which created the rivers. And he slowly rose to his feet. So he walked around the Lake Champlain Basin, and he said, wow, this is awesome, but he knew in his mind that Guskapi had helped him. So he said, you know what, I'm gonna go back to where I started, and I wanna protect the people, the Abenaki people that Guskapi had created, as a repayment for my legs. Before he did that, he wanted something to patrol the lake because it was so beautiful and he wanted it protected, but if he transformed, he would be stuck in one place. So before he transformed, he created an underwater serpent, which he calls Champ. He blew life into it, and it became a magical being. So that way it could patrol the waterways and report back to him and protect the lake. After he created this underwater serpent, he turned himself into a rock. So he would always sit outside on Shelburne Bay to protect our people. So that's what Adziozo means, transformer. If you look at a topographical map of Lake Champlain, you'll see the torso and you'll see where the two legs are, and Grand Isle splits the legs. You'll see where Adziozo had laid and where the legs are, and that became the formation of the lake.
This is a place that we protect, this is a place that we love, this is a place we keep clean for ourselves, for our children, for everything.
Our boundaries can be largely defined by water. You see, we really didn't think of ourselves so much as the Abenaki nation. We thought of ourselves as individual villages, and all of those villages were on rivers.
An Indigenous person in the dictionary is the original people of a certain place, and we can kind of understand that. To look at an Abenaki way of being in the world is that your traditional homeland, your territory, that you occupy and see as yourself, and you being that land, is based in terms of watersheds. That is the center of your group, is the water that you are on.
To the Western Abenaki, the water is the lifeblood of Mother Earth and of people. And so there should be a respect and a unity and an appreciation.
Really, water is life. It was our food source, it was our way of traveling, and it was spiritually alive.
Water is so important to us because it helps us in so many aspects of our lives, from the earliest Abenaki here to present. We have always been people situated by water.
Some of our earliest remains that we have of Abenaki settlements and things are right along the river and the shores of the lake. For example, right here in Swanton is the old village of Missisquoi that we go back over 7,000 years. Many of our longhouses, our wigwams were built right along the river. Since these are floodplains, of course, the water created the floodplains with the best agricultural crops for the Three Sisters, the corn, beans, and squash, and other crops that were raised in the past.
We're the canoe people. That without water, there was no transportation. We didn't have the horses and stuff, to get around. So water is everything.
It was canoes, birch bark, or dugouts, or on foot. So the waterways were our transportation.
We needed water for every part of our lives, and we still do to this day. Culturally, it's everything. Just being able to see a sunset over Lake Champlain at the end of a really hard, long day, it just reconnects me.
I think the significance of water is helping us understand that it is really the significance of life. Truly, without water, we die. Without water, plants don't grow. So water is really intertwined.
It's dynamic, it's essential, it's vital, it's everywhere, and often not part of our awareness, but it deserves to be there.
So the spiritual part of it also holds the memories and thoughts of our ancestors, right? So when you look at it, it looks back, right? You can see yourself in it. It just carries that reflection and that spirit that's there. It's hard to explain, but I mean, you know, and it carries our deities like Adziozo and Champ, right? I mean, it's just full of life.
In Lake Champlain, that's how you get your water, you know, your drinking water. It's very important, and it has to stay clean, and it has to be here, or we're not going to be here. It's very simple. It's the least complex thing you can think about.
People have been on that lake for thousands of years. The water that is there now has been there for thousands of years. And some of that water is inside of you, and some of that water has gone somewhere else very, very far away and will come back again. So it's this sense of connection to what has been, what is now, and what will come. Everything we do nowadays will have an impact, and everything that has been done has had an impact. And so we have to accept that level of responsibility and that level of connection and incorporate that into the way we go about things when we're dealing with the water.
So we have to take that responsibility seriously. That's where the takeaway is everything in life needs to be respected.
The water itself is what connects all of us. It's not my connection to the water, it's the water that connects to us.
Having access to and having clean, pure water is crucial to our tribe, to everyone's tribe everywhere.
To learn more about the outreach, education, and research offered by the Lake Champlain Sea Grant, visit uvm.edu/Sea Grant. The website hosts online events for educators and for families who homeschool. Click on the Events tab for information. And that's our program for today. Once again, thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.